Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salawat ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This week's khutbah is titled Optimism, to be optimistic. Islam doesn't just concentrate on rituals, but it concentrates on character and qualities and certain traits within a human being. And one of the most desirable, according to Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he said one of the most beautiful qualities a quality that Allah gives a person is being optimistic. And this is rooted in Islam by a person's faith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala controls everything, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of all of our affairs. This is why one of the famous words of our father Ibrahim alayhi salam is Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. My guardian, the one in whose hands my affairs are in, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is the best disposer of affairs. This is Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. But it's not just optimism, is also having trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He knows what is best for His creation. But this doesn't, see, Islam is also middle track. This is also, it doesn't take away from our own responsibilities and our abilities to plan and to make steps and to plan steps for our own success. But we must begin those steps knowing that Allah has control over everything, and at the end of those steps and at the result of that is in the hands of Allah also. If something goes wrong, we should have trust in Allah and be optimistic enough that we can trust that the result, even if it doesn't look like it was in my benefit or to my benefit, that in the long run it will be to my benefit. If I trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because no matter what happens, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, what Allah wills, qaddar Allah wa ma sha'a fa'al. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destined to happen will happen. That doesn't mean that we become fatalists, that we just sit back and say whatever Allah wants is going to happen, therefore I won't try. No, we don't do that. Nor are we those people that don't depend on Allah at all and say everything is in my hands and I take the responsibilities of the world on my own shoulders, and therefore of course stress out and put the blame on left, right, or even on myself, and then self-talk, negative self-talk comes in, and then there's this negative spiral that a person enters into, which leads to all sorts of illnesses and mental illnesses and psychological illnesses, because the person becomes distressed, right, and depressed because they think they control everything. So Islam is the middle track. You know, subhanAllah, when Salama, when she was married to Abu Salama, and Abu Salama passed away, she was distraught, and the Prophet ﷺ said to her, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, these famous words, that we are from Allah and to Allah we return. And that is consoling, that the death is part of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he also advised her to say, Allahumma jinni fi musibati wa khalifni khayrun minha. So Allah reward me in my catastrophe and give me something better than it. And what happened in the end, subhanAllah, after a period of time, Salama married the greatest of creation, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So this is just one example. And also look at the trust of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam when he and Abu Bakr radiallahu were in the cave being tracked by the people of Quraysh, and a massive bounty on their heads, and Sayyidina Abu Bakr was worried and started to shake, and Rasulullah ﷺ said to him, what do you think, Ya Abu Bakr, if two are in a place and the third one is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descended upon Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu this sakina, this tranquility and this certainty of iman that Rasulullah ﷺ said about Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu thereafter, that if the faith of the ummah was weighed and the faith of Abu Bakr was weighed in a pan, that the iman of Abu Bakr would be weightier than the whole ummah. Imagine, subhanallah, this is a direct result of that experience of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in such a stressful situation, not worried about his own safety, but worried about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what do we take from this? What do we take this optimism that we're always looking at the bright side? Always looking at there is something hidden, even if I can't see it. I should trust that even if I can't see it, that I trust that whatever is happening is for my betterment, either in this world or the next world. That there is always goodness. Always goodness. How many decisions have we made and the end result was something different from what we expected or what we planned for, yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put goodness in that. How many? And you can talk about so many examples, whether it be career, whether it be family, whether it be education, whether it be social, whether it be so many examples of things that happen in your life, not according to your plan, but according to the master plan, according to Rabbul Alameen, the sustainer of this world and the next. And we trust that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves and cherishes human beings. And we, inshallah, with our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and expecting, inshallah, with patience and with trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes optimism. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala change our vocabulary, that it be positive as well, and we be a positive role model for those around us, that we always stay calm, always trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and be a source of resilience and a source of patience and a source of comfort to those around us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.